Today's date is September 15th, 2015, and today we'll be discussing the ESL European Finals, a change in ESL streaming rules, an interview with the CFO of the NCBA, a look at the 1.05 patch notes, and other call bar news. All here on The Tip-Off. Good evening, Carballers. I'm Marc, Testcycle Booster, and I'm here to present to you the first episode of The Tip-Off, an online news broadcast for the Rocket League game brought to you by the National Carball Association, a lighthearted website and YouTube channel aimed at fans of the game. To start us off, we're going to travel to Europe for our ESL GO4ROCKETLEAGUE monthly European Finals wrap-up for the month of August. Looking at the quarterfinals of the tournament, Flipside Tactics, our #1 seed, was able to edge out a win over Fox Raid. Team Rocket sent Team Epic on their way back home to France. Generation of Billy showed Diamond Shaft that 2015 is indeed the year of the Billy, and Swarm Gaming waved farewell to Recommended. Moving on to the semifinals, we continued to see each team fighting strong and showing us exactly why they made it this far. Flipside Tactics showing Team Rocket that it is them that should be preparing for trouble as they sent them blasting off at the speed of light. Isn't that right, Meowth? On the other side of the bracket, we saw Generation of Billy not being able to hold up to the swarm that is Swarm Gaming. Swarm Gaming was able to send Generation of Billy down to the lower bracket to battle it out for third place against Team Rocket. Speaking of third place, it was Team Rocket who was able to beat out Generation of Billy in a beautiful photo finish and take home the bronze medal. That brings us to the outstanding finals match. Swarm Gaming putting on quite a show against Flipside, but it was not enough to take the Kings from their throne. Flipside was able to once again show the world why they are the greatest team in Europe. Congratulations again to Flipside Tactics, and a big thank you to all the teams for a wonderful display of Rocket League-ing. Speaking of ESL, last week there was a little drama in the streaming rules for ESL-hosted tournaments. During the weekly ESL Rocket League tournament, many players were forced to stop streaming their in-eye perspective streams, as official ESL streamers were already a part of that match. Many outraged fans took to Reddit, raising their pitchforks and writing up these unfair streaming rules. They were, however, met by a smiling ESL community manager, Ma-O Shoujo. Wow, that's quite a mouthful. ESL has since apologized for the inconsistent rules and has promised that for future tournaments, players will be able to stream their own matches even when an official ESL streamer is already a part of that match. The news was taken very well by the entire community and will allow pros to continue to interact with their fan base even during a match. Always good to see a happy ending for all parties involved, and I think I speak on behalf of the community on this one. We commend you for taking the stance, ESL. Rocket League Patch 1.05 finally dropped on September 10th, and with it, we saw a multitude of changes to help create an even better game. Some of the highlights include Ranked Season 1 play finally beginning, and it will last for several months. Reaching certain ranking milestones will reward players with items at the season's end. The solo standard 3v3 ranked playlist was re-added so players with an extreme lack of friends, myself most definitely included, rejoice. For you can now queue for 3v3 and find friend-lacking individuals just like yourself. A fine new match option has been added to the ranked end game screen, allowing players to quickly get back into the ranked action at the end of the match. Multiple advancements were made to the Utopia Coliseum arena, including easier to see goal indicators as well as to the spectator mode to allow persistent stats and player names, among other phenomenal changes. There were also 12 new community flags, 2 new chivalry flags, and 20 new country flags introduced into the game. Looking at the list though, it seems Psyonix forgot to add their official NCBA flag. Maybe we'll see that on the next patch, right? Wink wink, nudge nudge. You can see the full patch notes over at rocketleague.psyonix.com/patch-notes, so be sure to check them out. Rocket League has recently seen a boost in the mainstream media. The Wall Street Journal released a new editorial discussing parents playing video games with their children, and in it, the journal specifically states that Rocket League is a fantastic game to help bond families together. Red Bull also recently conducted an interview with Kronovi, the player considered to be one of the top carballers by many fans. In this interview, Kronovi answers questions regarding his plans to work full-time on streaming and playing Rocket League professionally after completing his current college semester. He also praises the community and thanks them for their support. I know I personally look forward to watching my work productivity continue to drop whilst watching more and more Kronovi as he transitions into that full-time streamer role. Jimmy Kimmel invited the Mrs. May and Markiplier onto his show last week, and on it, they played Rocket League together. Jimmy, being the expert gamer that he is, compared the game to Pac-Man and rooted for the orange team whilst playing on the blue. All in all, it was quite the spectacle, with some extremely funny moments, and definitely worth checking out. And finally, I'd like to give a big shout out to the Rocket League official subreddit. Congratulations on hitting 80,000 subscribers. We did it, Reddit. I look forward to being a part of this community as it continues to grow. That does it for our news segment, but before we begin wrapping up this episode of The Tip-Off, we'd like to collide with our co-owner and founder of the National Carball Association. So here I am with an overtime interview of Andrew Tesla. Welcome, Andy.
Hey, man, thanks for having me on the show.
Hey, my pleasure. Now, before we hop into learning more about you and more about the National Carball Association, I need to ask you the most important question. What is your favorite car?
Favorite car, I think, is Dominus, except for I keep falling on the hood, on the head, is what I like to call it.
Dominus.
I keep falling upside down.
Okay, very good point. I'm personally a Gizmo player myself. I like to play with that Herbie, style car. Always like seeing a Gizmo. I don't see too many of them, so.
Oh, I like me some Gizmo. Yeah.
Gizmo's a great car. She's my baby, if you will. Now, Andy, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm a graphic designer for the most part. I did the graphics of the show, and I'm a big carball enthusiast.
Yeah, and the graphics, they do indeed look great, so we can definitely tell that you've been doing it for a while.
So I can pat myself on the back?
Go ahead and pat yourself on the back. I am tooting your whistle,
okay.
Sir.
It's hard to read.
And I apologize for a couple of the mistakes that I did make during that show. So, Andy, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about what the National Carball Association is and why exactly you created it?
Well, honestly, me and you, because you were a part of it, right? You didn't know this, right?
I guess I suppose I indeed was. I was a part of it, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So, me and you decided we were going to try to kind of improve the esports scene if we can, which we're not saying we're gods, but we're trying, we're not Kronovi.
Not by any means.
No, I don't even know who that is. So, but we're trying to kind of push the esports scene if we can, like deliver the news, kind of just recap on Reddit, just try our best to kind of catch everyone up, make it a deal, make it a thing,
Right.
And also sprinkle a little bit of comedy here and there.
Yeah.
In there. Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. Yeah, I mean, that sounds great. But why exactly is it the National Carball Association? I mean, a lot of people are outraged that you're focusing only on the United States and not the international community. Don't Europe and other continents deserve some loving too?
Who? No, really, honestly, that's just a joke. That's part of the comedy. Don't get outraged and like tweet at us. That would hurt our feelings. The wrong way. Like tweet at us the wrong way.
Definitely tweet at us. Definitely tweet at us.
Yeah, definitely. Please do that. I did not say not to. Okay. Anyways, the way we look at it is, me and you are both Americans. We can't call us the International Carball Association. We just can't, because it's like we're not smart enough. We're Americans. and also as part of the joke.
Right.
The National Carball Association is like, National Football League, all these Americanized leagues of sports out there. So that's kind of why we decided to do it.
Right. I don't believe the football goes into any other nations, but such as the National Hockey League, the National Basketball,
Oh,
baseball, all those
it
associations they do.
does. Yeah, you told me that, so I know. I'm smart.
So, Andy, tell me, what exactly are the future plans for both the tip-off and the National Carball Association? What are
We
things
have
that you want to
huge
do?
plans. Okay, yeah, we have huge plans or big wants. Um, a lot of like really awesome like shoutcasting matches and like highlights and
Awesome.
stuff
Awesome.
of tournaments, with a little bit of comedy sprinkled in there. The issue is right now we're kind of going through like quality assurance phases, making sure
Right.
we can actually do it well instead of just shitting it out.
Exactly.
Like we probably are doing right now.
Exactly. Yeah, and that sort of brings us into our next question. With this being the first episode, it's very strict. A lot of data was omitted from it. A lot of topics that we wanted to discuss, and you and I would often say, "Hey, we should discuss this," but we sort of wanted to leave it up to the community to choose that. So, I mean, are there any topics that you would like to personally focus on? Would you like to just hear back from the community and then decide? How would you like to run that portion of it? And then I'll actually put my little spiel on it as well.
Yeah, we would really like for people to hit us up on Twitter. That's really our way that you can contact us unless you're chatting on the stream like right now. I see Voltage plays games. What's up, man? But the that's kind of the way you can get at us, and we want feedback that way. We want to know what we're doing wrong. Like,
Right.
be vocal. If we're doing something really wrong, tell us.
Right.
Like, really tell us.
Yeah,
We'll cry, and that's it.
it's all right. We have
We'll
each other's
improve.
shoulders to cry on, Andy. Um, right, and just to kind of put my own
Hmm.
little spin on there, I know I personally I would love to cover more in depth on the esports thing and just be a little bit more loose off the cuff. This episode, again, sort of like a pilot, a trial episode, because we want you guys to give us feedback about things you want to see, things that you enjoyed, things that you didn't enjoy, and you know,
And
things
something
of
I
that
want to
nature.
add: these episodes will almost always be pretty short. They are weekly. Now,
Right.
there's not a whole bunch of news we can cram in these, but we're gonna try to do anything newsworthy, no matter really how small it is. We'll
Right.
try to get everything in there.
Right. And
Like I really,
go ahead,
oh sorry, I was gonna
please.
say I really wanted to mention the Mad Max video that got posted today on YouTube. It's
Right.
awesome. We just didn't make graphics and little things there of the epic enough quality to show it off, but
Right.
it's there. Searching on YouTube.
Exactly. And I know I personally I would have loved to talk about the MLG matches today that my boss is actually going to definitely be having a talk with me tomorrow about my work productivity going down the drain today while watching those. Um, so, I mean, I would have loved to talk more about the esports scene personally and more about the community fan made videos, things of that nature. Um, I mean, if you are a badass hashtag carballer. Make sure you get at us on Twitter and let us know because we would love to do some community feedback and videos and highlight reels, things of that nature. And we also want to cover the esports scene a little bit tighter because right now there's not really a definitive spot to find that esports news and we kind of want to try to help not fill the void there and take it up completely but rather bridge that gap. Isn't that right, Andy?
Yeah, like there's a million websites out there that can be formed up to kind of be the one-stop shop for getting all your news on it. But there's going to be a mass majority of people who won't read it. Some people are lazy. I'm lazy. Um, so what we're trying to do is trying to get as much as we kind of can and put it in a shorter show and just tell you the news instead of you having to read it,
Exactly.
and hopefully have some halfway decent graphics and an awesome porn stash while doing it.
Thank you. It's actually brought up a lot of arguments with my girlfriend right now, but I'm doing it for you, just for you guys. Now, before I let you go, Andy, I do have to answer one thing that has been concerning me, and it's almost made me want to back out of this thing completely. I was reading on
Hmm.
Reddit from my throwaway account, of course, and I ran across a post that you made. and it stated that you didn't exactly know who Kronovi was. Is this true?
Yeah. Uh, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't really know who that is. Kronovi? Isn't that how you say it?
Yes.
Isn't that like that's the guy I pray to every night, though. Yeah, I know. I mean, I know that I pray to him every night, and pretty much every time I'm really high in the air, and like the ball is right there in front of my face, and I just I pray to him to grab a hold of the wheel,
Please, O aerial god,
as you
take
say.
thy wheel and score this aerial goal
Yeah,
for me.
take thine will.
Well, Andrew, it's been a
Uh,
pleasure speaking with you. I'm sure I will probably be speaking with you in just a couple minutes after the show ends to discuss my faults and how terrible I was. But I do want to thank you for joining us. It was a
you
pleasure
didn't
getting to
do
know you
that
better.
bad. You can live another night.
Thank you. I still have my job, guys. I still have my job. Thank you, Andrew, for
Yes.
joining us. It's going to be a pleasure working with you on this big project. Me and you have worked on many projects together before, but this is by far the one I think I know I am the most excited for, and I want to say that you're the most excited for as well. So thank you again, Andy.
Yes.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, like an awkward timed yes.
Well, you certainly succeeded in doing that. Thank you for joining us again, Andrew. Um, it was a pleasure speaking with you, and we hope to see you again soon. And continue making the great graphics that you did today.
I'll do
Um,
my best. I mean, I'm only one person.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, ladies and
All right, see.
gentlemen, we sit here now approaching the end of our show for September 15th, 2015. Be sure to tweet at the National Carball Association with any comments or criticism at National Carball, or you can tweet directly at me at Testcycle TV. Again, I'm Mark, Testcycle Booster, and this was The Tip-Off, brought to you by the National Carball Association, the best show to hear people talk seriously about using cars to hit balls weekly. I'll see you again next Tuesday, September 22nd at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern, so take care and stay classy, carballers.